He was so quick-witted and very vulnerable. I just thought he was the funniest, sweetest guy I'd ever met.
Now to more of our exclusive sit-down with Ozzy Osbourne. In our first hour, he revealed he is adjusting to life with a form of Parkinson's.
I'm dying. It's a fact.
Ozzy, 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 Ozzy.
The Black Sabbath lead singer Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76.
A farewell performance was something I insisted on doing. I don't want to disappear silently. I have to say goodbye in person.
Things got off to a pretty good start or a pretty rocky start?
It was tough. Ozzy was married and had two. I just thought he was the funniest, sweetest guy I'd ever met because he was so vulnerable. Children. His wife divorced him.
But she divorced him because of you?
No, because of the drink. She couldn't take it anymore. About everything. And that just attracted me to him.
You know the name, Ozzy Osbourne, the rock legend, the Prince of Darkness, the guy famous for biting the head off a bat. But what if I told you the wild headlines and the crazy stories are just a mask hiding a lifetime of deep pain, loss, and a battle he's still fighting today? Ozzy's life isn't just about music. It's a heartbreaking story of survival, a journey from a poor kid in England to a global superstar who had everything, but also faced a darkness no one should have to endure. Join us as we look inside the sad life and tragic journey of Ozzy Osbourne, right from the very beginning. A rough start and a dark secret. Ozzy was born John Michael Osbourne on a cold day in 1948 in Birmingham, England. His family was poor, living in a tiny two-bedroom house with no indoor bathroom. He grew up sharing that cramped space with his 3 older sisters, 2 younger brothers, and his parents. Life was a constant struggle. Money was tight, and the house was always crowded. As a kid, Ozzy faced problems that would follow him forever. He had dyslexia, which made school a living nightmare. Other kids were cruel, picking on him for his learning difficulties and his thick Birmingham accent. But the worst pain wasn't from the bully's words. It was from a secret he kept locked inside. When he was just 11 years old, Ozzy was physically hurt by 2 older boys from school. They would wait for him on his way home and attack him. He was too scared to tell his parents, so he carried that pain and fear alone. He later admitted that it completely effed me up. The experience taught him to bottle up his feelings, a habit that would cause him even more pain later in life. This one terrible moment made him feel lost and alone, a feeling that only grew stronger as he got older. Drowning in darkness. School became unbearable for a young Ozzy. He felt like a failure. The teachers didn't understand him, and the bullies never stopped. By the time he was 12, he started skipping school, but that didn't help. The thoughts in his head were too loud, too dark. He started drinking and using any drugs he could find, just to make the thoughts go away. He later wrote that his head was filled with these insanely dark, depressing, muddled thoughts. One night, when he was just 14, everything felt like it was crashing down. He felt like he was drowning in the ocean. In that moment of complete despair, Ozzy tried to take his own life. Luckily, his father came home just in time and stopped him. It was a terrifying close call, a moment that could have ended his story right there. But the pain didn't magically disappear. He still felt lost, and he knew he couldn't go back to school. He left for good at 15 and started working a string of dead-end jobs, from a laborer to a slaughterhouse worker. None of them gave him peace. At 17, he made another bad choice. He tried to rob a clothes shop and was caught. Since he couldn't pay the fine, he was sent to Winston Green Prison for 6 weeks. That short time behind bars was a huge wake-up call. The cold, harsh prison showed him a life he never wanted. It was a lonely, empty place with no music and no dreams. But even in that darkness, he held on to one small hope. The dream of becoming a musician, a dream that had been sparked by the Beatles. He knew he had to find a different path. The rise and a painful fall. Ozzy finally got his chance. In the late 1960s, he became the lead singer of a band called Black Sabbath. They were different, loud, and powerful. Their dark, heavy music changed the world, and Ozzy became a star. Albums like Paranoid and Master Reality made them legends. But fame and fortune didn't fix his old problems. Behind the scenes, the band was falling apart. Everyone was struggling with drugs and alcohol, but Ozzy's problems were getting worse. He was using more and more, skipping band duties and distancing himself from the others. In 1979, the band made a painful decision. They fired him. It broke Ozzy's heart. He felt betrayed. Even though he knew he had messed up, he had given his whole life to the band, and now he was out. Most people thought his career was over, but they were wrong. Ozzy surprised everyone. He started a solo career and released his first album, Blizzard of Oz, in 1980. It was a massive success, and a big reason for that was his new, incredibly talented guitarist, Randy Rhoads. Randy was young and full of energy, and his guitar playing was pure magic. Ozzy felt inspired again, and the two became close friends. But just as Ozzy found a new hope, tragedy struck. The shocking loss of a friend. In 1982, while on tour in Florida, the band stopped for a break. Their bus driver, who had an expired license, took a small plane for a joyride. Randy Rhoads, who was afraid of flying, agreed to go on a short flight. The driver, in a foolish attempt to be funny, flew the plane low over the band's tour bus, where Ozzy and the others were sleeping. On the third pass, the plane clipped the bus and crashed, exploding into flames. Randy Rhoads was just 25 years old. Ozzy woke up to the sound of the crash and ran outside to see the fiery wreckage. He later said he felt like he was still standing on that field staring at the burning crash site. Randy's death completely broke him. Ozzy had finally found a friend and a creative partner who gave him purpose again, and he was gone in an instant. This loss was a deep wound that never fully healed. For years afterward, Ozzy struggled to make music. He admitted that it took him a very long time to get over it, and that the sadness never truly went away. Demons that never left. Randy's death wasn't the only thing weighing Ozzy down. For his whole life, he had been battling a serious addiction to drugs and alcohol. He has openly talked about taking everything from cocaine and heroin to prescription pills and glue, often mixing them all together. It's a miracle he survived it all. He later learned that his body had rare genes that allowed him to handle all the drugs he took, but even he couldn't keep it up forever. He has been in recovery since 2006, but he deeply regrets the years he lost to blackouts and mistakes. The damage, he says, can't be undone. Sometimes the darkness of Ozzy's world even spilled onto stage. In 1986, a terrible thing happened at one of his concerts. A fan in the crowd collapsed from an overdose, hit his head, and died. It wasn't Ozzy's fault, but it was a tragedy that shook the concert world. It was another painful reminder that his life wasn't just about music. It was also about risk, pain, and loss, both for him and for those around him. But the struggles didn't stop on stage. Behind closed doors, his personal life was falling apart in ways that were just as tragic as his past. Ozzy has admitted that he was a terrible husband to his first wife, Thelma Riley. He married her in 1971, but he was rarely home, drank too much, used drugs, and cheated on her constantly. He later said, "I put that woman through hell. I should have never married her." He carries that shame and regret to this day. His marriage troubles didn't end there. While married to his second wife, Sharon, things took an even more dangerous turn. In 1989, while high on drugs and alcohol, Ozzy tried to kill her. He walked up to Sharon and told her she had to die, then tried to strangle her. Thankfully, someone was there to stop him, and the police were called. Ozzy was arrested and later woke up in a cell with no memory of what he had done. He was told he had tried to murder his wife. That moment was his worst nightmare, and a terrifying glimpse into the monster his addictions had created. It took years for them to heal from that night, but they stayed together, choosing to fight for their family. A body in pain, a heart still broken. Ozzy's life has been filled with terrible accidents and health scares. In 2003, he nearly died in a quad bike accident. He flipped the bike, and it landed on him, breaking his collarbone, cracking a vertebrae in his neck, and fracturing 8 ribs. The doctors said he died twice and was lucky to be alive. He spent 8 days in a coma and had to have metal rods put in his body. The pain from that accident would come back to haunt him years later. While he was recovering, his family was also fighting their own battles. His wife, Sharon, was diagnosed with colon cancer. His daughter, Kelly, and son, Jack, were both battling serious drug addictions. They were all in pain, and Ozzy had to watch them suffer while he was fighting for his own life. In 2020, after years of rumors and canceled tours, Ozzy made a heartbreaking announcement. He was diagnosed with a form of Parkinson's disease. He said 2019 had been one of the worst years of his life, especially after a fall that knocked loose the metal pins in his neck from his old quad bike accident. He had to have several spine surgeries, and the pain was constant. He said it was like a farewell to the best relationship of my life, as he knew he couldn't perform the way he used to. In early 2023, he officially retired from touring. It was one of the hardest decisions of his life. His body simply couldn't handle the physical stress of traveling and performing. He told fans that his body was telling him he just wasn't ready yet, and that he was too proud to put on a half-assed show. The music world was crushed, but they understood. Then, in 2024, came more difficult news. Sharon shared that Ozzy could no longer walk. His Parkinson's had gotten worse and had affected his legs. He confirmed it himself, but even in that painful moment, he stayed thankful. "I'm still alive," he said. "What's the one thing you'll always remember about Ozzy Osbourne's incredible and often tragic journey?" Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend. We'll see you next time.